Should you get an electric vehicle to save on gas or for other reasons? Let's discuss. Whenever gas prices are high, people start to wonder, would it make sense to switch to an electric car so I don't have to pay $3, $4, $5 a gallon for gas? Unfortunately, people sometimes don't look at the whole picture when making the decision. There's a lot more that goes into just, do you have to pay for gas or not? Long term, electric cars seem to be at least the next future of automobiles. Electric vehicle sales were up 109% in 2021. They're becoming more and more popular. The bottom line is there is a lot of merit to electric vehicles, but they tend to have a higher sticker price, but lower costs over the lifetime of the car. The upfront cost of electric vehicles are about $19,000 higher. So we can say plus 19,000 EV versus ICE, internal combustion engine vehicles. The gap between the cost of EVs and ICE vehicles is going to shrink as battery technology becomes more efficient and less expensive. But for the foreseeable future, an electric vehicle is going to be more expensive than an equivalent gas-powered vehicle. But you can make up for the upfront cost because a study by Joule found that an electric vehicle has a savings of $3,000 to $10,000 over a lifetime of 15 years. Now, of course, there are costs associated with the electric car. You do have to pay for the electricity if you charge your car at home, as most people do. The cost of electricity to charge an electric vehicle battery is sometimes considered to be equivalent to $2 per gallon. This depends on the cost of electricity where you are, whether there's off-peak or not charging, a lot of different things. The cost of charging at home can be cheaper if you charge during off-peak, depending on your utility provider. You also have to consider the cost of the installation of the charger and having an electrician install it. There is one estimate that says that it is about $1,200 for a home charger. This really depends on whether this is what's called a level 2 or a level 3. Actually, they're all level 2s, but there are higher and lower capacity level 2s. Maybe we'll even just get rid of that. That's confusing. But depending on whether it is basically like a regular dryer plug or something like a Tesla specific charger, you might expect to spend around $1,200 on that charger. And the charging costs on the road can vary from almost as expensive as gas all the way down to free in some public free chargers. Some chargers charge per minute, some per kilowatt hour, and it can be more expensive than charging at home. As the charging networks improve, hopefully charging will become even less expensive. Another aspect to the electric vehicle savings is what I would call savings on maintenance. This is as a result of there being fewer moving parts in a sense. When you don't have an internal combustion engine, you don't need oil changes. There are lots of other parts that simply aren't part of an electric vehicle, but things can still come up. And when they do, you almost certainly have to go to a dealership rather than a local mechanic. I had an issue with my Tesla, in fact. What was the issue? The issue was there was a certain knocking and something was under ratcheted basically. And I had no choice but to make an appointment with Tesla, which was not the most convenient thing. And because I needed a loaner, it took weeks and weeks to get in. That's certainly a consideration. Lastly, you also have to consider the tax credits. Okay. Tax credits can change over time. Tax credits, there are both federal and some state tax credits. But right now, if you buy a new qualifying plug-in electric vehicle or fuel cell electric vehicle, you can qualify for a federal tax credit up to $7,500. That can do a lot to chip away at this $19,000, right? So the win is you keep the car for a while, you get a $7,500 tax credit, plus the $3,000 to $10,000 savings over 15 years. Plus, if electricity goes up very quickly, you can end up saving this money, this $19,000, over the life of the vehicle. If you're thinking of buying a new car if you can afford the upfront costs, if you plan to keep the car for a while, it may be a very sound financial decision to look at an electric vehicle. The advantage financially will increase every single year in terms of the vehicle cost and efficiency. The tax credits are, of course, a question mark over time. Will they continue to exist? For a period of time, they will. They will likely be phased out if and when electric vehicles become the norm.